Sam Disciple. This has been long in the making. I have a lot to say. I'm going to try and condense it into a small space of time and say what I need to say. Let me start off. I'm Christ, I am Disciple. If you like this channel, you can like, share, subscribe. You can also donate via PayPal. The link is in the description. We're going to talk about Restore the Snyderverse. Why? We're going to talk about Free Palestine. Why? We're on Twitter. We are on View the Mayo's Twitter profile. As you can see, he was the executive producer, the creator, and the head writer of X-Men 97. And he's a big Snyder fan.
Where has he hidden it? Where is the Kodak?
Let's pause this for a second. Okay. Now, Bill Maher, he said this about
Where has he hidden it?
fucking playing, bro. I hate when these stupid things do stupid
Where
shit.
is the Kodak?
Come on, motherfucker. All right. Now I want to get his words. I want you guys to see what he said about. He's a big Snyder fan. He even said that. He admitted it in a Twitter post. Those of you who love X-Men 97, you got Zack Snyder to thank for that. Bo has a great love. Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. He said, I was likely subconsciously influenced by this when writing X-Men 97 Final beat of Rogue punching Bastion. That is not Superman hammering Zod. It's Clark, his son, furiously defending the woman who raised and protected him. The action is driven by emotion, not plot. Man of Steel. And here he is watching Man of Steel. Obviously, he loves it. Love the action and everything. And he's literally saying to the fans who have been saying, oh, no, he didn't take things from Zack Snyder's stuff. This stuff has been around forever. You know, Goku. You know, you call it Power whatever Z, and so on. But listen, truth be told, he did borrow it from Zack Snyder. He literally gives credit to Zack on Man of Steel for putting up the scene. But not only that, he talks about this scene here where Clark is speaking to his father, Jor-El, and he says, my favorite Man of Steel scene, the way Lois's peril and Superman's connection to her cements his connection to his own humanity. Then that look in his face before he drifts out, rallying, knowing that with saving Lois comes the larger responsibility of saving humanity. This is cinema. He's responding to Martin Scorsese. Of course, Zack Snyder was on record saying Martin Scorsese is not talking about my films. He personally, Scorsese was personally talking about the Marvel films that they're like, he calls them theme park rides. So here we are. Now this is, Man of Steel survived the test of time, right? Man of Steel is now 11 years old. And You could go watch it right now. Great film. Great film. Now, at the time it came out, the critics panned it. Haters who didn't like that it was going to be a rival universe to Marvel, they also review bombed it. But Zack's messages are so awesome. But as a result of that, we have Zack Snyder. Yeah, we had Zack Snyder putting up a masterclass in comic book movies. All right. No matter what they try to do to Zack in Hollywood, he'll always remain top, top, top. Beauty Mayo says also the damn music as he rockets after that still not available anywhere. Also, Martin, this is cinema. Zack Snyder cuts directly to the shot of Superman and Lewis. I really love this scene as well. The only thing in view, their love story, the bridge between him and her world. You know, this is my world, your world, right? Note she doubts if her believing in him made any difference. That is, she kept his secret. She trusted him. She believed what he said. That's what you mean by believing in him. And for him personally, it was a big thing because to see a human trust him was very rare. Humans did not trust Superman. Only his father and his mother who raised him trusted him, and they knew what was up. But now there was another one, which was Lewis. And so when she said it didn't make a difference in the end in terms of the outcome, he said it did to me because personally, he found a human being who saw him for what he was and believed him. So it was a big thing for him. And so Bao de Mayo saying this is cinema. And, you know, it's hard to find people in this life. You'll talk to many people, wonderful people, but people who could really accept you for yourself, who could trust you, who take you for your word. And usually those people are maybe members of your family, and maybe, I'm not saying it's always, maybe a close friend. Clark was lucky enough to have both. Lewis and his family. And Lewis saw him for what he really was. So that was huge. Now, that sort of turns a traditional Superman story where Clark's, you know, behaving like a clown and a klutz and hiding his identity from Lewis. It changes the story a lot. And Man of Steel, now we see two people who have a relationship and are building on it, building on trust. Beauty de Mayo says, sorry, Scorsese, this is cinema. Everything, the aspirational shot design, the music, the flight choreography, Clark going from sauntering with heavy burdens to soaring and smiling, selling the hope and power of an outsider discovering he's too big for his adopted home. Pretty cool. I wouldn't say he was too big for his adopted home. I would say he was being empowered. This was empowerment. And what happened to Clark, you know, it's a figment or it's an imagery of what could happen to us. Here he's soaring and flying and going all over the world. He's defied gravity. He's taking flight, and I love the imagery that Zack Snyder uses to show he's defying gravity. Not only does he defy gravity, but mentally, consciously, cosmically, all the things around him defying gravity at the same time. You see the stones rise off the ground and start to circle. You saw this again on his casket when he was dead, and you saw the rocks rise off the rocks. Again, empowerment, living up to your true potential, your unlimited potential. And that's what this encapsulates. And that's why a lot of people, babies, everything, it appeals to everybody because the imagery that Zach is painting here, it has you defying gravity, has you defying the things that's supposed to keep you back and keep you down, and people who's supposed to keep you back and keep you down. So that's the powerful imagery there. And Beau DeMayo, he gets it. He gets why Man of Steel is the greatest Superman movie ever done. In comic book movies today, particularly the series of comic book movies that have flopped, we don't get that depth. We don't get meaningful stuff to inspire us. We don't get it. So, Beau DeMayo was inspired by Man of Steel, and that's what you see in his X-Men 97 movies. That's why he's featuring Man of Steel over all of them. He's featuring that. I'm going to show you guys something. Gotta go home. Okay, my bubble should be able to move. Yep, it does. I'm gonna move the bubble around a little bit so I can get to where I need to. There you go. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna get there. I have a lot to talk about, but I have so much to talk about when it comes to this topic of Palestine, but we'll take it one step at a time, okay? Take it one step at a time. Okay, hold on 1 second, okay? Let me find this. Okay, excuse me for eating. I really hate that I'm eating right now. I know how annoying it could be for people. So much eating like that. Okay, what I'm gonna do, let me try something else here. Bookmark. I wish I had bookmark everything. I don't think I bookmark everything. I'm gonna come to this guy in a minute. Damn it, so a lot of Gaza stuff I gotta talk about here. It looks like I didn't bookmark it. All right. But anyway, there's a guy on Twitter, I forgot what his name is, and he was showing the video comparisons of X-Men 97, BVS, and Man of Steel. And people were denying it, and now Beau DeMayo, he comes out, straight up confirms everything, right? And I want to show you guys why this is significant. Why Restored Snyderverse is significant. There is no other universe right now out here that. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get this to move. Now it's giving me a whole set of trouble. Okay. There's no universe out here right now that is so in demand that people so want to see again. The quality restoring the Snyderverse or Snyderverse was on par with movies like Joker, The Dark Knight. It literally was a lot of work put into the movies, you could tell, and also the themes and stories were well thought out. I just recently did a poll 2 days ago. It lasted 24 hours. And the poll asked the question: it's 3 years after Zack Snyder's Justice League was released on HBO Max. Would you go watch it if it was released in cinemas worldwide or Warner Bros? This poll, 77% of the people, so about 78, 79 of the people, said, hell yeah, day one. 23% of the people said, nah, the time has passed. Now, I'm going to say this. Warner Bros. Putting out all kinds of movies. Harry Potter movies, Lord of the Rings movies. They're going to put out an old movie again. Meanwhile, Zack Snyder Justice League never saw cinemas. They don't seem to get grasp that Zack Snyder's Justice League is what caused the epic 1.5 million record-breaking, Hollywood record-breaking tweets that mandated them to restore the Snyderverse. That's the highest response to anything in Hollywood ever on Twitter. I'm going to say this right now, for the record. If Zack Snyder Justice League goes into cinemas next week, I guarantee you it makes way more money than the Aquaman movie did. It makes way more money than the Flash did. And it would make way more money than James Gunn's Superman movie will. Why? Because all those movies are movies that are not creative, imaginative. They follow a sort of overseeing committee safety first approach. And the characters don't take themselves seriously. That is the major problem. Black Adam, for the most part, took itself seriously. I believe that's the only one of all the movies. And it still had some weird ass jokes in it. I think that's the highest performer out of all the movies, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I say this to say this. Nothing right now in Hollywood comes close to the Snyderverse. I don't care about critical reviews. I've seen detractors say, well, Man of Steel underperformed. No, it didn't. Name me one movie. There was a lot of hype around it, and then there was a lot of hate. But name me one movie that started a franchise that started off with $1 billion. Name me one movie that did better than Man of Steel as a debut for a franchise. Name me one. Iron Man didn't do it. Iron Man made less. Batman Begins didn't do it. Made less. Okay? I believe Transformers did it. It made more than Man of Steel. Man of Steel did very, 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 very well, in spite of critics panning it on an aggregator. Extremely well. It was extremely lucrative. Sponsors already covered the cost for the movie, so they were going into the movie making profit. It did extremely well, in spite of all the hate it got from the establishment and the fake outrage. Then BVS also did extremely well. Now, Warner Brothers was looking for $1.5 billion out of it, but that was an unrealistic expectation for the second film in a franchise. It's unrealistic. Iron Man did it in its third film in its franchise. Now, after BVS, we had two extremely lucrative, extremely successful films. Suicide Squad 2016, Studio Squad, they call it, and then Wonder Woman. They were extremely, extremely profitable. That's because they were riding off of those two first heavy lifters. Now, the next film to come in the franchise was fucked up by the studio. Completely fucked up by the studio. They first fucked up BVS, then they fucked up Suicide Squad. They didn't get to fuck up Patty Jenkins completely, Patty Jenkins Wonder Woman. And then they came in and they completely ran havoc on Justice League 2017. And that's why that movie flopped. Then they went on to tamper with Aquaman. But because Jason Momoa was supporting the release of Snyder Cut movement, that movie did well. We had Snyder fans going to see it. And it was a piece of shit. And that's proven by Aquaman 2. Shazam, you know, David Sandberg, I like him and everything. Shazam harkened back to BVS and everything like that. But Shazam was another piece of shit. But people patronized it and called it a good story and whatever because they wanted to see the Snyderverse restored. I was hopeful. Okay. Everything else flopped after that because of the consensus and the speech of Warner Brothers, how they were disassociating with Superman. They were disassociating with Batman. They were disassociating with Wonder Woman. So, well, Gal's Wonder Woman was getting everything. So what happened is we got flop after flop, and we've never gotten another movie that broke even since then. Right? And James Gunn is not going to do anything. He's going to make a flop. I've said this before. I'll say it again. He's going to flop. That's Superman is not easy to pull off. I don't care who. I hear Still Abdul talking about, yeah, he going to do good. It's not going to do shit. Okay? It's not going to do shit. It's going to flop. Okay? It's going to flop. Let's be real out here. Right? James Gunn's first DCEU movie or DCU movie, whatever you want to call it, flopped. And the reason it flopped is because, guess what? This is not rocket science. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It's the Marvel formula. And they've been using it in DC since all the way back to 2017. And they never relinquished that. They used it for Aquaman. They used it for Shazam. Aquaman, Shazam only went forward because these movies are not deep. These movies are not provocative. These movies are just a flick and it's gone. They're not memorable. They're cheaply done. And if we want to elevate humanity, the only way to elevate humanity is through the arts, through entertainment. I see no elevation of humanity. I just see empty entertainment. For the last 8 DCU films. I call them DCU. I don't call them DCEU. They're shit. They're not even to be spoken about. Unless derogatory. All right, let's keep it moving. So, that's one. I got something else for you guys, of course. Let me roll up here. I'm going to give you reason number 2 why the Snyderverse is going to do very, very well. All right, here we go. This right here. Let's read this. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, Chapter 1, The Chalice of Blood, will be followed by Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness. Combined, they will be an ultraviolet mythological sci-fi opera with near 6.5-hour runtime. This is a director's dream. Zack's getting to do things most directors don't. This is the most anticipated of the Rebel Moon stuff because this is actually what Zack really wanted to do. Zack did one to the studio to please the studio, and now he did this for himself. That's what we want to see. Now I gotta say something to Netflix as a studio. Netflix, you got 4 movies out of 2. You're supposed to get 2. I'm gonna say this to Netflix. I want you to pay attention to what happens to these director cuts of Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Because Zack Snyder said, if you guys want the auteur's vision and not some studio vision or some consensus poll or whatever the hell they call it things, then you have to support the auteur's vision. So here's what we got to do. We got to support the daylights out of Rebel Moon, the director's cut. Now, I'll say this. If some of you guys do not have Netflix and you can't afford Netflix, Netflix is only, in my country, it's only $88 TT, which is equivalent of $10 to $14 US. Can't afford Netflix? Let me know. Hail me up. Dial me up. Call me up. I'll see how I can assist you in somehow helping out this endeavor. Okay? Now, having said that, I want more eyes on Rebel Moon, the director's cut. I'm gonna be pushing for it. It's coming out, they say, sometime in August. So I can scroll up here. Yeah. So they said it's releasing this August at Netflix. Rebel Moon Chapter 1, Rebel Moon Chapter 2. Now, notice there are 2 different titles. The Chalice of Blood. Now, the chalice was supposed to be the young princess, Issa. So that's interesting. Whereas, remember, it was a child of fire. And Chapter 2 was the Scargiver. Here, it's the Chalice of Blood and the Curse of Forgiveness. So that's going deeper. It's going to give you a deeper dive. I guess each movie is 3.25 hours long. He's really giving you a nice slow burn as well. Now, what the detractors were saying is that Rebel Moon has failed. Look, the second week drop off is severe, and it's failed. Scargiver was performed less than the Child of Fire. What these clowns don't realize is the Child of Fire got more play because of the Scargiver. That's 1. 2. This is not the premiere stuff. This is not the stuff that fans are really looking for. They're looking for the director's cuts. Netflix has been a platform where auteur directors and other directors could showcase their skills without any bounds or limits on them. And I would really hope that Netflix will learn from this after seeing the response to the director's cuts for Rebel Moon. Don't worry about the runtime. Do not worry about all those other things. You just ensure that your fan base or the people get the vision of the auteur director. We want the unadulterated vision. We don't mind. The director can live and die by whatever. We didn't have a director's cut for Army of the Dead. So why do we need a director's cut for Rebel Moon and the Rebelverse? Shouldn't have had that. Should have just let Zack Snyder do his thing, let people see and accept that. Now, Zack Snyder's talking about there's going to be another director's cut for Part 3. I'm going to say this. Depending on the performance of the director's cuts for Rebel Moon's Part 1 and 2, Netflix should decide if they want to have a director's cut for Part 3. In other words, part 3 should either be the director's cut, if the director's cuts do very well, or a studio cut, if the studio cuts perform better. Now, people are saying the studio cuts was before the director's cuts, so not a lot of people will look at the director's cut. So this is how to do it. They're trying to play it safe. I'm going to tell you right now, I believe the director's cut is going to outperform the studio cuts. That's my personal belief. And why do I believe that? Because a lot of people are really waiting on the director's cuts. They want to see Zack Snyder's true vision. They don't want to see nothing else. Put out the true vision. We don't want to see no studio version. We don't want to hear about no poll or some consensus by some specialist group. Don't give a fuck about that. We didn't come to Netflix to be convinced that we need to watch Zack Snyder's stuff. We came to Netflix because we already were convinced about Zack Snyder's stuff. We were willing to take whatever he gave us. So, and our word of mouth will make the thing work. So what we want is the director's cut. So I'm just say right now, the thing I'm excited for, which is all the way in August, unfortunately, is the director's cut of Rebel Moon and the Rebelverse. That's what we're looking forward to. People say the Rebelverse is dead and it will never happen. And Zack Snyder will be out of Hollywood. All kinds of bullshit. You know why? They're trying to censor him. They're trying to censor him, these wicked people. But they're not a majority. They're not a lot of them. They can't even make a fucking movie break even. They're clowns, as far as I'm concerned. So that is what we're talking about here. Let me see something here. Okay, we're 31 minutes in. I don't want to waste too much of people's time, but I'm just saying, Restore the Snyderverse is the way to go. The other stuff is going to flop. And they're going to flop. And you've seen the effects now on Warner Brothers, period. Furioso is not a bad movie. I'm pretty sure it's not a bad movie. It's a prequel to, George Miller's other movie, Mad Max movie. But Furiosa right now is suffering really bad at the box office. And the reason that's happening is because, like I said before, the people who usually come in and really fill those gaps are Snyder fans. Whether y'all like it or not, the Snyder fans are a tremendous amount of people from all different walks of life. And they also include directors. And they also include people in the industry. A lot of people love Zack Snyder. But there are key people in key positions because of the agendas of the CIA, because of the agendas of Israel lobbying groups and Israel lobbyists. They're trying to censor this dude. I'm serious. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Because we're going to get to the heart of this shit real quick with Free Palestine. We're going to get to that. Because it's kind of linked. All these crimes, all the child trafficking and all this shit, it's actually linked. These guys are corrupt. It's corrupt people. And even this thing that's happening in Israel and Palestine, that links back to our politicians, that links back to our entertainment, that links back to our sports, is corrupt people in high places. Okay, so we're going to get down to it. We're going to get down to it, and we're going to talk about this in some good detail. I promise you that. Promise you that. All right, so I just wanted to highlight that. So that's why Restore the Snyderverse is the only way forward. It's not one of several ways forward. It is the only way forward for Warner Brothers to have success. You have to restore the Snyderverse. You can keep all the other universes. You can keep James Gunn doing whatever the shit he wants to do. But what I do know is if Warner Brothers wants to stay in existence, by the way, they're stuck. I don't know where the stuck is standing at. I can check it out right now, actually. Let me go check out the stuck. Their stuck is probably, hold on a second. What is Warner Brothers stuck at present? Let's see. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Come on. What's going on? There we go. Okay. Close that off. Let's see what Warner Brothers stuck is today, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this fucking phone. Shit, man. And why isn't this docked? What the hell? Okay, we're gonna find out now. So the stock continuously is low. Today it's 7.68 USD, constantly dropping. Okay, look at it over a year right now, and it's really fall all the way down. It has had a drop of 34.09% this year to date. It dropped from 12 all the way down to 7. Pretty soon it's going to reach 5, like Damian Addison Vincent was talking about. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing well. So, you know, we need the Snyderverse restored. I saw Restore the Snyderverse trend right now, trending in Twitter. Let's look at what's trending on Twitter. This is what's trending on Twitter. Trending on Twitter right now, Rebel Moon. Always something associated with the Snyderverse. Always. Early on this morning, it was Man of Steel. Okay? What else we got? Epstein Island. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. Jill Stein's up in there. Jill Stein. Now, people are saying there are only 2 options for the United States of America in terms of voting for president of the United States of America. I disagree. Let's get into it. The reason why United States and Washington in particular are so pro-Israel is because of AIPAC money. AIPAC and Friends of the IDF and other Israeli interest groups or lobbyists have been funding candidates in their elections. They have super PACs, and they're the ones with the super PACs. They're the ones that provide the funding for candidates to beat other candidates and win elections. And whoever they fund, they usually win the election with. What we have to do is we have to disrupt that. We have to go behind and back and support candidates who are not AIPAC funded, who are not funded by these Israeli interest groups. So Jill Stein is one of them. She's with the Green Party. We have Cornel West, who's another one of them. We have Bernie Sanders, who's another one of them. We have OAC. We have, a bunch of the people who have been pushing for Palestine in Congress. So, but as an option, as people for presidential candidates, we have 3. It's Jill Stein, Bernie Sanders, and Cornel West. Now, do understand that what I'm about to tell y'all is very important. As you can see, it's not just about a ceasefire. It's also about the removal of the occupation of Israel from Palestine. Now, let me break down a little story to you guys. I was watching an expert talking on colonization. Colonization is really based on capitalism. It's about trying to control the people in the area, make them servants to you so you can make money off of them. And it's also about genocide and annihilation of people. And in the 19th, 18th, 19th centuries, we had colonization, which was allowable at the time in the world. So we had, Africa being colonized. We had Australia being colonized. We had America being colonized. India was colonized for a period of time as well. And they got free, cheap labor. Now, what you have to understand is Israel is trying to colonize a place they're calling now, because they're always going to colonize, you rename the place, Palestine. Most of the people who are trying to colonize Palestine do not come from Palestine. They came from Europe. So the European Jews came into Palestine they were able to negotiate a deal with the British who were in charge of Palestine, and they were able to buy off land of Palestine, not from the Palestinians, but from the British, and get ratified into law a place they called Israel. There was a war that ensued, and they ethnically cleansed the area to form Greater Israel. Right now, Israelis own about 80% of the landmass that used to be called Palestine, where the Bedouin, the Druids, the Arabs used to live together with the Jews, the endemic Jews of the area, in peace, more or less. These foreigners came in, claimed that they had possession of the land 2,000 years ago, and proceeded to undermine the symbiotic relationship that people had with each other in Palestine, and started to displace people, let's take away their jobs. And this is why, even in America today, immigrants that come into America, they are so apprehensive about these immigrants taking over America, is because when they came as immigrants, these Eastern European people, they also displaced the people who used to be there. So because they know they're capable, they did that. That was their mindset. They feel that immigrants from other parts of the world are going to do the same, which is not exactly the same thing that immigrants from other parts of the world want to do. However, having said that, so settler colonialism is this: I come in, I conquer the people, I defeat them, I put them on their feet, I break them, and then I make them work for me, or I kill them, or I chase them out. So this is what Israel is doing in settler colonialization. And they are a sort of strategic capitalistic advantage for the Western world. They're like the face of the Western world in the Eastern world. And so everything kind of goes through them. And as a result of that, they're seen as vital to the West. So the West supplies them with munitions, all kinds of things. So this is their relationship with the West, because the West, that's how they came to be. America was a colonial project. So is, Germany, that was in South Africa. So is France and most of Africa, Spain, etc. Right? In the New World, people adopted their language, etc. So because of this, you'll find the Western powers were hesitant to say anything about Israel's 75-year oppression of the people of Palestine. And what I'm saying is, people who were endemic, the indigenous people of Palestine. Furthermore, the West will quickly side with the negative labeling, the denigration of the people of Palestine. The people of Palestine have been victims for 75 years. Victims. They've never had superior weaponry. They've never had superior anything. Okay? They've been beaten down, most of them chased out into the surrounding nations. Those who remained and set foot and determined to stay in Palestine have been tortured, murdered, raped, burnt, bombed, shot, imprisoned. Every atrocity you can think of, Israel has done to them, okay? Collectively and also individually. And so this is to try and ethnically cleanse them so that the whole space could be Israel, just like what America did to the Native American Indians, just like what Australia did to the native people of Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea. Of course, the people who came to Australia were actually criminals. They were actually prisoners. Whereas the people that came to America, they were supposedly running from political, religious persecution. Supposedly. I'm not saying that's what really happened. So there were settlements that formed. The settlements are on land that the native people used to have, and it's the same thing happening in Palestine. In fact, the people are moving in armed. They're shooting, killing people, taking their houses, their lands, just like that, and settling into their lands. And they've been oppressing the people, and the people are not free to move where they want. They're not free to talk what they want. They are not free to do certain actions. They can't go certain places. This is the absolute imprisonment of a people and oppression of a people. And this is what's been happening in Palestine for 75 years. So if I side with the Palestinians right now, and I don't side with the Israelis, and I'm not pro-Israeli, you understand why? Because the world has changed, and the world The same Western values that, that these barbarians came in and savagely brutalized the people and victimized them and then called them savages when in fact they're the ones being savage and barbaric. Israel's being savage and barbaric right now. But, they demonize Hamas because Hamas is actually providing resistance. And they're lying on Hamas, saying that Hamas did this and raped these people and that. There's no evidence of that. This sort of foolishness, they're trying to demonize Hamas. Nobody's buying that bullshit anymore. The world is different. We're in 2024. Wake the fuck up. Nobody is buying that shit anymore. And so I'm going to show you some examples of this. I bookmarked some of them. And I'm talking about people who are Jewish. Just Israeli Jews are not being buying this shit anymore. The bullshit is over. They're exposed. Israel is a pariah state. They're not any better than some of those Islamic states that are absolutists and dictatorships. Right now, Netanyahu is moving like a dictator with his cabinet. He has support from a sizable portion of Israel, but there's a sizable portion of Israel that don't want him there, don't like what's happening, and they are now becoming very vocal in Israel, and the police cannot clamp down on them like they were before. There are mad protests going on in Tel Aviv right now, even though Tel Aviv almost got bombed by Hamas rockets. And man, I mean, all around the world, you see the ICC, a submission of arrest warrants to the ICC has been for Netanyahu and also the Minister of Defense, as well as 3 Hamas leaders. I don't think they should issue. I don't think that Karim Khan should be issuing arrest warrants for the political wing of Hamas. I don't think so, and I certainly don't think. But he says he has evidence for it, so whatever. And I don't think that they really should be admitting. I'm going to speak. I'm going to straight up with y'all. I don't think they should be admitting any arrest warrants for Hamas because Hamas has the right to resist. They have a right to defend themselves. If you think about it, Palestine has no fucking defense. They have no military. Just like how Lebanon has a weakened military and Hezbollah works along with the government there and the military there to bolster their protection. Hamas is the same thing as the Viet Cong. They are a guerrilla team. They are guerrilla military. They use surprise tactics to take out the enemy. They remind me of the mountain people in Jamaica or the mountain people in Guyana, where the black slaves teamed up with the Native American people, got the high ground, and was able to kick the British out of Barbados, was able to kick the British out of Jamaica, was able to kick the Dutch out of Guyana, Dutch Guyana, and also the British out of Guyana. Okay, and they call the Caribs, my ancestors, the Tainos, they called them cannibals. But revisionist history in Caribbeans realized they were warriors and they kicked their ass. They kicked the asses of the Spanish, and then they kicked the French's asses because they were warriors and they're like Sparta, like fucking Spartans. And they kicked their ass out of the lower part of the Caribbean. So they were still able to disrupt them eventually, but there's still some of them around. I'm a descendant of one of them. Now, you have to understand something, and I'm also a descendant of the Jews. You have to understand something, okay? You could tell me about the Bible and prophecies and bullshit like that to try and fandangle me. You can't fool me. First of all, the prophets told Israel that the Lord desires mercy and proper justice and judgment. What Israel is doing right now is they are killing the fatherless. They are murdering the widows. They are killing parents and children and making children orphans. They're killing so many children. It's not funny. It's like a fucking war against children all of a sudden. Pedophilia and trafficking of children is one thing. But now, literally torturing and killing and imprisoning and and shooting children. This is just disgusting. Disgusting. It's horrific. So I don't know what to say except that the foolishness that's going on. You could target one person, you could target another person, but at the end of the day, we could see through it for what it is. It's bullshit. America trying to back Israel. You can't back Israel just because AIPAC got you in their back pocket. They bought you out. They bought almost all of Congress. There are one or two that are not bought out. Crooked, corrupt politicians. The ICJ ruled that there's plausible cause that Israel is committing genocide. What do you have to say now? What the fuck do you have to say now? Almost every institution in Gaza has been destroyed. Let's not talk about the West Bank and the violence going on there and East Jerusalem. In fact, Israelis protesting this war have been imprisoned in East Jerusalem. What's going on in Hebron? It's a policed state. Israel is no longer a democracy. It is only a democracy in form. And my brothers and sisters in Israel who are resisting would have to do it silently because of Gestapo police and people just pulling you out of your homes in the night and putting you in prison and torturing you. That's why you're not seeing a whole bunch of Israeli citizens rising up. But you guys, don't let them pick you off one by one. You got to get out there and you got to make your presence felt. You have to be strong and anti-war, just like the college campuses kids. They're not backing down. They're not going to shut up. You're not going to silence us. You can make all kinds of fucked up laws. We're going to disobey them. Because humanity comes first. And if they could do that to the Palestinians, what's to stop them from doing it to you and me? And we'll just all stop and watch them do it? Fuck no. Fuck no. It's us against them, and we outnumber them. And if we got to use sheer numbers and people got to sacrifice their lives like martyrs, fuck it, we'll do it. But the world says no. Now, having said all that, let's go into some stuff. The fuck is going on? Is that my profile? That's not my. I don't want my fucking profile, you dumb fuck. Here we go. There you go. Okay. So I bookmarked some of these things. This guy was, his name is Max Miller. Max Miller was a Zionist Jew. And I'm proud of this generation of people. Generation Z is doing incredibly well. They're way advanced than us. Shout out to Generation Z. But I'm about to put him up so you guys can hear him and what he has to say. It's very emotional.
Certainly not us are immune from that.
Okay, here we go.
The footage out of Rafah today, if you haven't seen it and you're able to handle it, you should see it. I'm about to make the video that I've been putting off making for months. The video publicly addressing my fellow Jews who are Zionists. I don't hold any malice or hate in my heart for you.
But some people do.
You have fallen victim to the same kind of rhetoric that has enabled this kind of cruelty in human beings many times before throughout history. No group, certainly not us, are immune from that. And I say this as someone who was raised just like you. I went to Israel many times, sometimes for months on end. I have been from the tip of the Golan Heights to the bottom of the Negev Desert, and I have had free passage through that land because there I am afforded privileges by virtue of my birth that other people simply are not. And no system like that deserves to survive, no matter who it is built to benefit. Because any system that benefits one group to the exclusion of all others is fundamentally unjust. And I know you have 1,000 counter arguments. Oh, Arabs have rights there, and the ones that don't just don't actually want to have rights. They just want to be violent. Who is committing the violence? Go watch those videos in Rafah. Oh, it's war. People are gonna die in war. There's always a goalpost to move. And I know, because I moved those goalposts myself before I finally relinquished my Zionism once and for all, and it was the hardest belief I ever had to give up. I am an atheist Jew. I lost my faith in God before I lost my faith in the state of Israel. But I'm saying this because I know it. Because I have been where you've been, had people telling me that this nation state, this foreign government that exists as a government on the world stage is necessary for our safety. Well, look around you. It is not necessary for our safety. In fact, it is hindering our safety more than anything else in the current global geopolitical sphere. Israel will be our tomb. Every time I criticize Israel, some Zionist runs to the comments to tell me I can't wait until there's a second Holocaust and Israel isn't there to protect you. Who is committing a Holocaust right now? Who is making Jews pariahs on the global stage? Do you think that when the dust settles and the genocide has been completed, and you can say it's not a genocide all you want, but when the Palestinians are gone, that will have been a genocide that you could have helped to stop while it was progressing. And you won't have. You'll actually have defended it until it was too late. And at that point, do you think the anti-Semites are going to give a shit who was and wasn't actually responsible for the genocide?
Exactly.
No. They will come after the Jewish community as a whole.
Yeah.
And Israel isn't going to last forever. Israel is the biggest threat to Jews around the world right now. And I hate that I even have to frame it this way. I shouldn't have to frame it this way. You, as a goddamn human being, should have empathy for other goddamn human beings.
Exactly.
Most especially Palestinians. You, as a Jew, should understand what they have been through and are going through right now. Better than anyone else, because more likely than not, your own great-grandparents went through the same thing.
Exactly.
And again, I hold no malice or hate in my heart for you. I genuinely am hoping to bring you just a little bit closer to reality, to waking up, to seeing that we are not safe as Jews until everyone is safe everywhere as whatever identity
100%.
they claim.
100%. Lord, goddamn. Goddamn.
The footage out of Rafah today, if
Okay.
you haven't seen it and you're able to handle it, you should see it.
And you know the thing is,
Where are you at?
The
Hey, what's the
people
leaders?
leading,
Where are you at?
the people
About to make the
Hold on a
video
second.
that I've
the people leading a lot of these protests are Jews. Jews for peace, Jews everywhere. Because the Jews realize this is dangerous. This is dangerous. This is where real, and I met one guy, Luke Gage, on Twitter, talking a lot of anti-Semitic bullshit. Because, see, Israel's able to pull this ruse under our nose for so many years. Okay? Made us pity the Jewish people. They're always using the race card. Anti-Semitic. You're being anti-Semitic. Never again. Whatever. And now we realize, oh shit, they're not the victims. They're the oppressors. This is bullshit. And now some people taking it to the next level and saying, all Jews are like this. All of them. That's why Hitler wanted to purge them from the face of the earth and blah, 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 blah. Now, Ninja, that's being anti-Semitic. And I heard Luke Gage, he tried to equate all Jewish people, lump them all in the same bowl. Ninja, you can't do that. You can't do that. Okay. All right, let's get to this. This is a Palestinian guy.
Associated Press, CNN, BBC, ABC,
rightfully so
NBC,
angry.
CBS, fucking XYZ. Where are you at? Israel fed you lies on beheaded babies, and within milliseconds, you ran with it. Israel fed you lies about rape, and within milliseconds, you ran with it. Israel fed you lies through repurposed propaganda videos filled with false Arabic translations, and within milliseconds, you ran with it. Israel fed you lies about 1,400 killed Israeli civilians, and within milliseconds, you ran with it. Every single one of these has been proven false by even the Israeli media.
Yep.
And many of you piece of shit politicians, including our satanic president, still spew these lies that have been debunked since 8 months ago.
Yep.
And not only that, you still continue your atrocity propaganda until this day, as if there's any fucking narrative left for you to save in their most blatantly and overtly in your face, Nazi-like evil regime.
Yep.
Look at this hell on earth that is Rafah from today. It has been a hell on earth every damn day for the past 8 months. But today exceeded it all, where Israel went literal scorched earth in retaliation to their being ostracized as a pariah by the entire international community.
Correct.
Just when you think they couldn't get any lower, they set a new standard of low, and that low is all the way in the depths of hell. We literally just witnessed real decapitated Palestinian babies.
Yep.
We literally just witnessed real Palestinian babies burned to a fucking crisp. We have physical, photographic, and video evidence coupled with IOF videos and Zionist messages gloating about this massacre that even Israeli news media confirmed happened. This is what they do. With every condemnation comes a retaliatory onslaught on the innocent Palestinian civilian population, times a millionfold. A vengeful, bloodthirsty psychopath bully trying to exact the most painful revenge.
When Pharaoh said to Superman, every human you save will kill 1 million more. It's like they doubled down. Israel's doubling down on their genocidal tendencies, and they're trying to kill as many Palestinians. They don't care. After the ICJ ruling and of ceasefire, these motherfuckers doubled down. And listen, you can make the excuse, oh, Hamas is in there. They need to get the fuck out of here with that shit. Okay? I'm tired of hearing that bullshit. If Hamas is in there, and Hamas is a guerrilla organized terrorist organization as they so claim, then motherfucker, use your special forces and use your fucking intelligence. You could take out the Iranian embassy in fucking Syria, Damascus, Syria. And you could take out the heads of those guys, but you couldn't take out the heads of Hamas, who don't even live in fucking Palestine, in Gaza. Fuck out of here. You can't stench Hamas's money flow? You say Iran supplies them. Well, America supplies Israel, you fuckheads. Is America allowed to supply a terror state committing acts of terror for 75 fucking years? Killing the Iranian president? Killing, how many people have they killed in Africa, in India, in the Middle East? How many assassinations these fucking people have done? The more we see how Israel exposes itself, is the more we realize it is not needed and it doesn't have a right to exist. It's the opposite. The Palestinians have a right to exist. This fucking state does not. It is ugly. As Jesus said to the Jewish leadership, you are like a rotting sepulcher. Outside you look beautiful, but inside you have dead man's bones that are rotting. That nation is disgusting. Now, am I saying that inside of Israel aren't really nice people? Fuck no. There are really nice people inside of Israel. I have friends in Israel. I have friends in Israel. I have people who shine love and light constantly in Israel. And I know personally some people in Israel who hate what is going on right now. They hate it. And they know there are repercussions for that. I've said it, and I'm going to say it again. Israel as a state, as it is in its present form, must be destroyed. Must be destroyed. Because what you are looking at is a repeat of Nazi Germany. And as usual, pariah state to pariah state, the heads of the United States of America are once again supporting apartheid, as they did with South Africa's government. Once again supporting, they're always the last people. They're vetoing everything. The whole world sees that this is shit. But these motherfuckers, because they're capitalism driven, they never want to side. Their own people, 75% of the American population want a ceasefire. Doesn't matter that they're Republican or fucking Democrat. 80% of the Democrats right now want a ceasefire. 80%. The whole fucking world, 135 countries want a ceasefire. And we're not getting a ceasefire because some asshole in America is waiting on a paycheck from a fucking Israeli lobby. Get the fuck out of here. So here's what we need to do. We need to buck the system. I need you guys to either support Jill Stein, Cornel West, or if Bernie Sanders is running, Bernie fucking Sanders. Y'all need to put a jolt in the system and destroy it once and for all. We don't want fucking Donald Trump. Fuck him. And we certainly don't want genocidal, what the fuck is his name? Shit. Whatever his name is. The president of the United States. We don't want those two guys. They're not going back. And you guys gotta put your fucking foot down. Forget the fucking Israeli lobby. Put your fucking foot down. And don't vote them back. And those of you who don't vote, this is an important vote. Get there and vote. But here's the thing. Y'all agree on who it is you need to have as the next president of the United States. Is it going to be Jill Stein? Is it going to be Cornel West? Or is it going to be fucking Bernie Sanders? Out of all of them, I prefer either Jill Stein or Cornel West. You guys got to make up your minds on that one. President, vice president, whatever. Jill Stein and Cornel West is what you need to roll with. One of them is the people to run the country. They'll try and assassinate them, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's where we need to get. Do not vote for Suicidal Joe and do not vote for Donald Trump. Vote for Jill Stein or Cornel West. The elections are coming up. And buck the fucking system. I know of a senator who is Republican who beat the system. I think he's a congressman or something. And he got reelected again from Kentucky. AIPAC went after him, but they couldn't stop him. OAC and Company Limited. They must be backed by the ground forces. The people back them. They need to stand and say, fuck AIPAC, fuck your money, fuck the Israeli lobby, fuck them. Because here's what. They infiltrated sports, Hollywood, the political system, even states have bought bonds from them. They've been wooing and tricking people into buying out the United States of America so Israel could do its genocide and become greater Israel. And they're not going to stop at the border of Egypt. They're going to go at Egypt. They're going to go at Jordan. They're going to go, first they'll go at Lebanon. Then they'll go at Syria. Then they'll go at Jordan. Then they'll go at Egypt. They're not going to stop, ladies and gentlemen. So, they've been exposed. They were called the Palestinian Initiative back in the day. One colonial system to another. Fucking Britain. Made a deal with them and did not include the Palestinians. The Palestinians need to get back all their land. The place need to be called Palestine again. Fuck Israel. And for those people who say, well, Israel is God's chosen people, not them guys. They're not God's chosen people. And according to the Jews, the real Orthodox Jews, they're not supposed to form another nation. When the Lord returns, he'll gather them all together. That's how they say it. When the Messiah returns, they'll be gathered together. But they're not supposed to form another nation. The Jews who are endemic to the region, Palestine, they're also being attacked, tortured, shot, beaten, imprisoned for speaking out against the Zionist system there. Okay. Here's another one. This bitch. My boy, Yanis Varoufakis. He was former Israeli, he's an Israeli actually. Well, he was Israeli. I think they banned him from Israel now. Former Israeli head, one of the negotiators for, when doing deals and stuff like that. He's called Israel an apartheid, oppressive state that needs to be destroyed. Anyway, he's highlighting this asshole, Nikki Haley, who is writing "Finish Them" on the missiles of Israel as she's come to Israel. So this bitch is saying annihilate the defenseless Palestinians who have no fucking weapons. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, the only Palestinians that have weapons is Hamas. Hamas lives in tunnels just like the Viet Cong. They don't have the greatest state-of-the-art weapons or anything like that. They improvise. But she's talking about killing out all of the Palestinians because all of them support Hamas. And according to these assholes, I support Hamas as well. And you know what? Fuck it. I support Hamas too. Yeah. The whole fucking world supports Hamas at this point in time. Because what Hamas did, yes, they unprovokedly, seemingly, broke through the wall and kidnapped some people and went back into Palestine. But the truth is, Hamas was trying to get the people that Israel kidnapped out of the West Bank, East Jerusalem, etc. They were trying to do a trade. That's basically it. By the way, for the record, Hamas broke down those fucking walls and went across land that used to be owned by Palestinians. And it's the settlers that stole that land. And in fact, an American who was with the former Israeli IDF soldiers who was trying to stop this settler takeover of land, she stood in front of a bulldozer and was bulldozed over. And no one in America has done an investigation into that. An American fucking citizen on a peace mission. And this happened back in 2000s. Several American citizens have been killed in the bombings of Gaza. And America does not investigate. In fact, they're saying Israel needs to investigate that because these fucking politicians are bought by Israeli lobbying money. Fuck them. I remember watching a movie with Denzel Washington called The Manchurian Candidate. I never thought that you could manipulate people by bribing them, but that's what the fucking country of Israel did. It bribed politicians, and the greedy ass, stupid ass politicians have taken their money. So we have to send a message to all of these fucking, that's why Donald Trump called it the swamp. We have to send a message, but Donald Trump is also a recipient of AIPAC money. So fuck Donald Trump, fuck Joe Biden, who's one of the highest paid guys, recipients of the donations. Fuck Joe Biden, and he's a Zionist too. Fuck all the Zionists out there who are supporting this shit, this genocide. And we need to put in power people who cannot be bought or sold. And that means people who have not taken any super PACs. That includes OAC. That includes all the other people, Williams and all those people, including Cornel West and Bernie Sanders, who they haven't taken super PACs. And these are the people that we need as a coalition to rule the next government. of the United States of America, for America to survive. Because I'm telling you right now, in the eyes of the world right now, America is seen as supporting a pariah state and seen as a pariah state. Again, the people of Israel, not all of them are like that. The people of France, they're not into that. And you see the protests worldwide, including in Israel. There's a lot of protests going on. There's mayhem going on. Okay? And they have the police cracking down like the fucking police state that they want it to be. The majority of people, you can't crack down everybody. You can throw tear gas. Once you get over 1 million people, you can't control them. And that's what they want, population control. That's why they want to kill down the population of the world. The world's population right now is 8 billion people. 8 billion people. They can't control all 8 billion people. Can't kill out all 8 billion people. And you see that. They can't even kill out 2.2 billion people, 2.2 million people in Rafah right now, in Gaza. Right? It's hard because it's too many. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you guys is we have the upper hand. We have the numbers. We have the numbers. We're not going to try and overthrow governments, but we definitely going to make our voices heard and put the heat on. And France has to turn around. Spain has to turn around. You think these politicians, if nobody was murmuring, would have done anything? They wouldn't have done shit. South Africa led the charge. You got people globally now being vocal because they realize their voices do count. You know, I was listening to people talking about your voice don't count on social media. Fuck no, that's bullshit. And we know this from the Snyder Cut movement that our voices can be heard. And we know when you get vocal and rowdy about something on social media or off social media, they got to respond to you. That's why we know Restore the Snyderverse is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Because Warner Brothers, as a multi-billion-dollar company, it cannot survive without us. Nikki Haley, what an asshole. You're on the wrong side of history, Nikki, and you can't backtrack on this bullshit after this. You can't. These are all the people all around the world. This is in Spain. People protesting in Spain. Listen. Hundreds or thousands of people. Let's not forget the campuses. Man, even in sports, they're playing football. Free Palestine. It's in sports. It's everywhere. This is in London. We are all Palestinians. This is France. From the river to the sea, baby. Better bet your ass. Get the people back in land.
Support Boer or Schringer or Fine.
But the price, we think the price is worth it. We have heard that 500,000 children have died.
So this is this asshole Secretary of State. She's talking about it's worth it to kill all those kids and women and children in Afghanistan. America's been in so many fucking wars where they've done so many atrocities. This is in Israel, the native Jews. This is the clampdown in East Jerusalem I was talking about. So it says here, Zionist Israel police raided the Mia Shearim Jewish neighborhood in Jerusalem and began detaining Jews. The only crime these Jews have is being anti-Zionist and supporting Palestine. So they've been doing this shit in Israel all the time. So when people say, oh, all Israelis are, no, don't say that shit. Don't say that shit. That's not true. There's a lot of them locked up in prison, man. They're being tortured and raping and doing all kinds of shit to Israelis, far less Palestinians. Palestinians can't even walk in East Jerusalem without getting shot down. They would shoot and kill them. Let's not forget the Ethiopians who are also Jews. Man, they getting shot and killed too. There's a lot of shit going on in Israel, man. It's real ugly right now. Okay, because A lot of the Israelis that was up in the north, Hezbollah's taking the north. It's taking back the settlements of the Lord. Lebanon's taking that back over. Like, fuck y'all. The Syrian, Hezbollah is in Syria and it's also in Lebanon. And they just took it back over. They're not talking about Hezbollah. You know why they're not talking about Hezbollah? Because they can't bully Hezbollah. They can't hurt the people, there as much as they would like to. Because Hezbollah is striking back. And this is why they're demonizing Hamas as much as possible. Because Hamas is striking back. And Hamas sent a bunch of rockets to Tel Aviv, I think, recently. They're striking back. They're like, you ain't even touched us, motherfucker. And they're only now starting to wind it up. They assassinated the president of Iran. Everybody knows this. We don't have empirical evidence, but we know. They assassinated the president of Iran. Right? But you could assassinate the president of Iran, but you can't assassinate the leaders of Hamas. What the fuck's going on there? No, your priority is not to get rid of Hamas, like you're claiming, because you know you can't. Your priority is to ethnically cleanse Gaza and then put your settlers in there. That's what the fuck you want to do. It's not going to work. The world's not going to allow you. Koji says, swinging by to drop some love, bro. God bless you. Free Palestine. Bro, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Why am I not seeing my video? Okay. It's only a matter of time. Wicked people will never survive. The truth always outlasts a lie. Always. Took 75 years for everybody to really see what's up. All right, this is a little bit on hold on a second. This is a little bit on.
Today, a foreign government, Israel, operates the most powerful lobby in Congress. This is AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Through control of Congress, Israel demands and gets nearly $5 billion annually.
Yep.
No elected official dares criticize Israel for fear the Jewish lobby will accuse him of anti-Semitism,
Yep.
the kiss of death for any politician.
Yep.
The president also knows what Israel wants, Israel gets. To act otherwise is political suicide. The mass media, founded and controlled primarily by Jews, manipulates the spigot of information out of which Heartland America drinks.
Yep.
The message of this contaminated source is, if you criticize Israel, you are anti-Semitic. Be safe. Keep your head down, or you are fair game for being knocked off by the Zionist shooting gallery.
As a result, our president and elected officials are slaves to political correctness when it comes to Jews and Israel.
Yep.
They cannot seriously criticize Israel, especially as the source of Mideast strife and terrorism. They
Yep.
cannot suggest an end of aid to Israel. They cannot even protest Zionist control of Congress.
There you go. There you go. So if y'all think I'm just making this shit up, nope, I'm not making this shit up. Okay. In a way, like I said before, Hamas opened the door. What happened on October 7th opened the door for this discussion. Opened the door for people to see what really was going on. Israel's trying to supposedly commit a genocide. And even the Israeli Jew that you just heard, he said, after the genocide, what? What you gonna do? You think the world's just gonna forgive you for that and go back to normal? Fuck no. They're not going to. They're gonna realize what you really are. And they're not gonna be intimidated by you. None of us are intimidated by Israel right now. None of us are intimidated by the United States of America. Because all of these states were supposedly democracies made for the people, by the people. It ain't made for the people and by the people. It's made for the elites. The people who are making money off of it, the capitalists. Let's keep it moving. I'm going to pass on this. This is a real... If you guys want to, on Twitter, check out this guy, Brad Corin. He's Curran. Excellent pieces this guy be doing. He's he's part of the Snyder fan movement. He's a Snyder fan, but he's also a journalist, and I love how he writes these pieces that are logically sound. Yes, he's sort of doing apologies for apologists for Zack Snyder, but still, nonetheless, he makes some really valid points. Check him out if you want. You know, it's really good. I love this piece he did.
Costume, everyone has seen it. This looks like shit.
When I saw this over the weekend, I thought it was AI generated.
It's an ugly day for an ugly picture. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed by it.
I mean, they could at least make the suit clean. This is bad.
No, this is the Superman? This is the Superman suit?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think this is trash. Like, I think this is horrible. Lines. Why does he have knee pads? Why would Superman have knee pads?
This looks like a cosplayer did this.
Superman's had a long day at the office. He's like, I guess I gotta go and save the city again. Blah blah blah.
First of all, it looked like he ordered that costume off of Amazon. Yeah. That's why he's angry.
He's just like, yeah, people are dying. I'm going to take my time. And to me, that is a big warning sign because that shows that they do not understand this character.
Yeah. He's wearing red pants over the blue suit. Yeah, they try and hide it very well. They try and hide it so hard. And I'm like, yo, you're hiding it because you know it's an issue.
That S means something.
I agree.
And now that I see that shit on that weak suit, that S belongs with that weak suit, bro.
You know.
Yeah, what's up? I have no idea what just happened. I don't know if I'm still I don't know if I'm still streaming. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Yeah, they probably somebody probably flagged me. Are we still running? I presently I don't know why the fuck. Okay, so there's a malfunction on YouTube all of a sudden. I don't know if I don't know if they're attacking me because I'm talking about Free Palestine or what, but I'm dropping bombs, ladies and gentlemen. The IDF and their fucking people be everywhere. You know what I mean? Right now, I can't get video. I just got back a video again. They knocked off my video. Something knocked off my video. Fuck them. I don't care. So, we can go into a whole bunch of other things here. Brad Karn doing another good article here. Collider. Oh, something I really need to talk about. So on the 30th, which is tomorrow, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention will be having a discussion with Zack Snyder about suicide prevention and about mental health. So Charlie Hunnam will be in that. So I really want you guys to check that out, okay? This is my stuff. All right.
What do Gazans, what do Hamas, what do they want? What do they chant? They chant death to Israel, death to America. They hate, they do actually. They don't hate America because of Israel. It's the other way around. They hate America because they hate Israel. They hate the whole idea of democracy, liberal societies. They view us all as, colonial implants. We're here in this country. We're sitting in this city, which King David declared as our capital 3,000 years ago. So, I think everything is spun in the other way, but we're fighting for the truth and fighting for our future, and we'll continue to do that. America often helps us. You should know that Israel always helps America with a lot of intelligence that saves American lives in many, many parts of the world, and especially here in the Middle East. Israel is a valued ally of the United States. I don't think America has a better ally than Israel, and I believe that Israel has no better ally than America. Doesn't mean we don't have disagreements. Do you have disagreements in your family?
Okay, so this fucker right here sabotaged the Oslo Accords to bring peace in Palestine. This fucker right here caused the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin, one of the right-wing settlers, killed him. This motherfucker right here supports settler stealing of land. The area that where the kibbutz was, where they were having the rave. That's stolen land. Okay. Now we've seen footage of Hamas going through the settlements early on and not troubling the people, not troubling the people. They came with their military weapons, but they went to attack military targets. You saw some Hamas agents taking pictures with some of the residents of the kibbutz is in the area. In short, what I'm saying is that Hamas is a military organization. Palestine has no military. So the people came together and they decided they were going to resist, and they formulated a plan, and that's how they got their military. They call this military, filled with mercenaries and volunteers, they call them terrorists. Why? Because these guys, they use unconventional guerrilla warfare to take out strategic targets. Now, this is not the same thing as the Second Intifada, where people were strapping bombs to themselves in desperation and blowing up things. This is not the same. These guys are trained. They are militarily trained people. Obviously, American forces, special forces and mercenaries, as well as special forces from Iran and Iraq, have trained them in the art of combat and trained them in these guerrilla proceedings. But the guerrilla warfare worldwide has always been the same. Okay? You look at the Viet Cong, you look like at the guerrilla warfare that happened in the Caribbean, they're all the same. It's the element of surprise, to attack someone when they least expect it. As to Hamas saying that they would attack Israel again and again and again, yes, they would do that because they want to see the collapse of the system that keeps the Palestinian people in oppression and bondage. The system that exploits them, the system that rapes them, kills them, takes their land, imprisons them. Obviously, they want to see that collapse. So Hamas is the militant wing and militant wing of Hamas, not the political wing of Hamas. Their goal is to disrupt, to interrupt, and to destroy. And this is just like Star Wars Rebels. This is just like the rebellion that happened in Star Wars. This is just like the rebellion that happened in Rebel Moon. This is just like any rebellion. Fidel Castro, and they rebelled against the governing party and kicked out the governance that was there. It was a democratically elected government, supposedly, but they were corrupt, and their corruption. The same thing with Haiti. The same thing with Venezuela. Okay, and somebody in the public decided, fuck this corruption. We're gonna fight it, and we're gonna X, Y, and Z. And this is what happened. This is where Hamas comes from. They say Hamas is a terrorist organization. No, the tools that they have available to them, they use to mount their offensive. That's all there is to it. They use what they have to mount. The Houthis, they're not terrorists. Nelson Mandela, he's not a terrorist. He was a freedom fighter. Okay? So, is it justifiable what Hamas is doing? Should Hamas kill citizens? Of course not. Okay? Or civilians. Of course they don't. But the Hamas's intention is not to kill civilians. They're a military organization having military objectives to take out military installations. They're not really interested in fighting in civilian combat. Is Hamas using the citizens of Palestine as human shields? That is partially true, and it's also partially false. It's partially true in that they're using guerrilla warfare, so they will use whatever they can use to as cover to launch their attacks. However, having said that, the many claims that Israel have made that Hamas's center is here or Hamas is among these is only for them to do genocide. If they know that Hamas is using civilians as human shields, then shouldn't your approach be one of intelligence? Shouldn't your approach be one of special forces? How did they get Osama bin Laden? Osama bin Laden was living amongst the Palestinian, amongst the, what the fuck do they call it? Sri Lanka, India. The fuck is the name of the country? That's crazy. Shit. It's not called Palestine. Palestine is not the name. It's, y'all know what I'm talking about. If y'all know, just put it in the chat. Hold on a second. Let me see what's going on here. Shit. Netanyahu, Solomon Ahmed said, Netanyahu says the campus protesters don't understand that the King David declared Jerusalem the eternal capital of Jews 3,000 years ago. Well, let me say something to this asshole who thinks he's really something, but he's shit. First of all, the King David Hotel that was bombed. King David Hotel that was bombed was done by these motherfuckers right here. The British believe that they're descendants of the tribes of Israel. Right? So the British are descendants of the tribes of Israel. So these motherfuckers, same thing? Listen. Times change, things happen. We don't care that you think you have an affiliation to the land. Our problem is your displacement of the people from the land by murder, genocide, and ethnic cleansing. We couldn't give a fuck what story you tell us. Now, if you came, you integrated yourself with the people, you won them over, you were able to do your little projects and shit, we wouldn't have said nothing. You conquered the people, you won the war, but the people were allowed to stay in the land, live their lives, but just under your rule, maybe giving you toll or something. We wouldn't have said nothing. But you not only ethnically cleanse these people, you said they can't come back. You call these people animals, you call them all kinds of shit, and you attack the weakest of them. You don't go head to head with Hamas, because you know you get your ass handed to you. Just like Hezbollah's handing you your ass right now. Because you're actually weak. Got a lot of technology and all that shit, but you're bombing the common person and you don't give a fuck. You don't even give a fuck about your own people. In East Jerusalem right now, you're beating up your own people. Tel Aviv, you got these fucking police with rubber bullets shooting at people with tear gas, trying to disperse them. Okay? So this asshole here, who I don't consider the Prime Minister of Israel anymore, I consider him a war criminal and somebody who needs to be locked up forever. Because he's not only guilty of that, he's guilty of corruption in his own fucking country. He's a slimy piece of shit. Okay? So this dude here needs to be arrested, and he needs to be put into prison forever. And maybe they should do all the wrath of all the wickedness they did to other people to him for the rest of his fucking life. But we need to have mercy on people. So just lock him away and just keep him away from society. This guy's been a plague. But it's not just him. It's a mindset. It's a system that has to go down. And for those people saying, oh, we need to protect Israel, we need to take care of Israel. For what? What good have they done in the region except destabilize places, except bring more wars? From Africa all the way up to the Middle East, to India, to China. These fuckers have been fucking up everything. They work in tandem with the CIA. They're not good people. Okay? They're not. So I'm just saying. Now, with respect to, I'm not saying all Israelis like that. Fuck no. I'm talking about the people who actually carry out these evil crimes. People who murder people. Carry out assassination attempts. That sort of shit. Now, with respect to them claiming some sort of ancient claim to the land. If everybody was supposed to do that kind of shit, nobody live anywhere. Because there are multiple generations of people. Before Israel even came to exist, that land was occupied by the Palestinians. Father Abraham came into fucking Palestine. And it was King Abimelech that gave him the land. So if this motherfucker want to make a claim to Palestine, guess what, motherfucker? The Palestinians still have a bigger claim than you. So shut the fuck up about who came first and all this bullshit. Before there was a Palestine, there was Samaria. So let's stop the bullshit. Stop it. Stop it. And God ain't going to give you no more land. It's been taken from you. It's in scripture. You ain't getting it back. So you can see this guy's a piece of shit. You can see he's an evil piece of shit. Okay. He's worse than Putin. Putin at least got common sense. Putin shouldn't have invaded Ukraine. He violated the sovereignty of the state. But he did it for at least better reason than this piece of shit. He's actually trying to preserve lives. He's trying to preserve the Russians that lived in the Ukraine. He's also trying to get the Crimea, but that's a whole other story for another day. All right? So that's all I got for you guys for now. I'm going to catch you guys later. I am Christ, I am disciple. I'm sorry to sound like that. Oh, I'm also I have some products on sale. So we have cleaning agents such as all-purpose cleaner, got dishwashing liquid, and we also got fabric softener, as well as we got liquid detergent for clothes. Each of them costs $8 TT. If you're living in Trinidad and Tobago, feel free to place an order to me. You can catch me on YouTube. You can message me on YouTube. You can message me on WhatsApp. You can message me on all social media platforms, Twitter, and place your order. I'll try and deliver it to you. It has to be a pretty big order, though, if you're far away. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.